There's nothing like a homemade pie, and it all starts with having a great pie crust. Follow along, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy pie crust. It's going to be buttery, it's going to be flaky, it's going to be great for any type of pie. Apple pie, pumpkin pie, strawberry pie, pecan pie, sweet potato pie, whatever kind of pie you want to make, this crust is going to be great, quick, easy, homemade. Let's get baking.
One thing I've learned when baking at home is we have to be as precise as possible. So make sure you square that off when you're measuring your flour. In this easy pie crust recipe, I'm going to be using a total of 6 cups of flour. I actually have a mixture of all-purpose flour and my cake and pastry flour. I was getting right down to the end, so I wanted to make sure I used all of that up. In regards to butter, I'm using unsalted butter, 2 cups or 1 pound. It's basically just a full block of that butter. We want it as cold as possible, and then we're going to cube it up. I found the secret to making a good pie crust is we want to handle things as little as possible and keep all the ingredients as cold as possible when we are forming our pie crust.
We're making a lot of pie. That's 2 cups of cold butter cubed up, ready to go. A lot of ice water on hand.
I'm going to add about 80% of that flour into my food processor. If you're doing this by hand, you can certainly do that as well.
A pinch of salt, not a punch. Boom!
Butter goes in, and we're basically just going to be pulsing this a few times to coat that butter with the initial flour.
And we're just going to pulse it a little bit. We don't want to make this hot. Basically, we're just coating the butter with the flour, so we've got to go on a low pulse. Okay, let's add in the remainder of the flour. Just got that started up.
If you wanted to have your pie crust a little bit sweeter at the initial flour stage, you could certainly add in 1 or 2 tablespoons of sugar.
We'll add in some ice water slowly. We're gonna need about 2 cups of this. Oh, I didn't want the ice in there. A little at a time.
It's important to add just a little bit of your ice water at a time. That way we don't have our dough that is too sticky. We can always add more, but we can't take it back out once it's in there. And just start pulsing that a little bit more to bring everything together for your pie crust.
A little bit more.
I've added in just a touch more water. Pulse it a few more times to bring everything together. And then we're going to finish off this pie crust by hand kneading it a little bit on our board. Okay, here we go. We'll bring out that dough and put it onto our board so we can finish by hand kneading it. You can still see chunks of butter, which is going to help us create layers of butter in our pie crust, so it's buttery and flaky.
Still cold, and you can see in here how we've still got crumbles of butter. I don't want that ice cube in there. We can get that out of there. So we're going to work this just a little bit. We're going to press, and then we're going to fold in half. And we're going to press. We're creating layers of butter. In half again. If we needed to add more water, we would, but I don't think we're going to have to right here. I'm actually going to add in a touch of flour, just a touch, and work that in a little bit. Let's work that in a couple of times, and we're going to divide it. Fold, press. We don't want to work this too much. We want to keep this dough cold, okay? Oh, ice cube. One more fold. Looks nice. Looks nice. So make sure that's even.
Now I'm dividing this dough into 4 almost equal pieces, which is great for 4 9-inch pie crusts. Now you can certainly stretch this out and make it into 6 if you choose. Just make a little bit of a smaller pie. You can even wrap it up and freeze it and keep it in your freezer for a couple of months. That way you've got pie crust ready to go anytime you need to make a pie in a pinch. This is why I try and make a little bit more all at the same time.
Now each one, we're just gonna mold into a little bit of a circle, press. Again, we don't want to work it too much. We don't want any of that gluten to activate. Nice, so cylinder number 1, ready. Number 2, press. Pack those tight. So now these are all wrapped up nice and tight. We're gonna put them in the fridge for 1 hour, let them firm right up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna start making different types of pie filling. I've got pumpkin pie today and apple pie. I also have a strawberry cheesecake in the oven. Be sure to check that easy recipe out on my channel too. As easy as possible, so that way you can have some success when you're making pie at home. Boom!